All right, and welcome back to the Dented Puck. My name is Drew. I'm joined by Josh, Dirk, and Corey. And on this episode, we're going to be doing a recap of our last weekend at the Pondy on Pryor tournament in Minnesota. Boys, how's it going?
It's going good. Like Corey said in the preview to last episode, I unpacked today too, and it was laundry day for me. So, yeah, it's weather hasn't changed. It was beautiful the first day there, man. But we've had that beautiful, like, little bit of light, but a lot of bit of gray. That's wonderful for blind people. Same kind of weather around here. What's going on down there in DC, Mr. Movie Star?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just soaking up the sun, working on my tan. How's is it still snowing down in Colorado, Corey?
Yeah, and they still won't plow the streets.
We might as well wait till the storm's over. Saves on gas.
It's Colorado. Every man for himself.
You just gotta get a snowmobile, dude. That's what we do in Maine. When it snows like that, you just take the snowmobile to get to town. Go right down the main road.
I mean, you could just go right over the lakes, because at some point you're gonna understand exactly how many trucks and Zambonis you can park on the lake for the ice thickness that there is. Mm-hmm. Because that's got to be something you learn when you're in Colorado or Minnesota. Like, I'm just looking around at that tournament, like, all right, you guys know something that I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's always awesome doing these pond hockey tournaments. I think it's just so neat to be outside and playing. It definitely reminds me of being a kid a little bit. Except, back then I actually won a game or two. This one, we just continually get destroyed.
Yeah, that's the difference, winning and losing, not anything else between when we played hockey as kids.
Okay, but to be fair, we did much better at this tournament than we did at any other tournament that we've been to with the Dented Pucks.
Oh, 100%. We were competitive to the point where, like, if we made our adjustments a little bit earlier on Saturday, we might have been able to sneak that one out on Sunday. But yeah, absolutely. We had it together. We definitely had it together. And I mean,
did you end up using the regular puck or the blind puck?
The blind puck. So that was what was really cool. Marty Richardson runs DAWG Nation based out of Colorado, who also helped put this event on. To start off, the Pondy on Pryor was a tournament that DAWG Nation Hockey Foundation put on to benefit Ethan Quinn. If you listen to our previous episode, Anthony Walsh knows that family. Minnesota is a very tight-knit community. So Ethan, unfortunately, took a neck injury during a football game and was paralyzed from the shoulders down. And so this tournament was brought together by his football team, his hockey team, the local community to help support the family and the needs that they're going to have currently and moving forward. So because we have done so many events with DAWG Nation, awesome, and made sure to include us and let us know that it was going on and invited us out. And so we took the Dented Pucks up there, and the first game we're playing, and Marty comes over and says, use the blind puck every game. And so we used the blind puck for every game. It definitely allowed us to stick with these guys a little bit more. But I feel like it's a double-edged sword, because then it's still a slower, larger puck for guys to see just fine. So it's like we're helping ourselves and them in a sense, if that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, well, it's easier to defend against it. You're more likely to poke check a puck away from somebody when the puck is 3 times larger than it.
Yeah, and just like the fact that Adam played forward a lot, like, as long as he heard, like, he knew where that puck was coming from, and it really helped for him to hear it, because that's it. Adam's a one, like you, Dirk, that having the blind puck really changes his game.
Oh, I won't have a game if it's a regular puck.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Oh no! It was funny because you're talking about how, like, it does slow the game down for them too. Like, I don't know if you guys heard the Sunday morning game where we were playing Jared's team again. After they went up a couple, and I was like, "All right, guys, put the goggles on. Let's see how you do." Because I mean,
Right.
we know that really is how you level the playing field, but we also know that's kind of where it gets a little bit unsafe when you play full on competitive with the goggles on and not thinking.
Yeah.
You got to turn it to me.
It's one thing if it's a charity event and we're not, and you don't have guys like me going full bore and running over some guy with goggles, and I don't remember he's wearing goggles. You know what I mean? But yeah, when you're playing full on competitive, you definitely want them to have have all their sight.
I remember one thing from what Adam said back in St. Louis. He's like, "Hey, just call me out," or just like, because he's, I guess, I can't remember. Yeah, it was Adam. He said, like, as long as I'm like communicating, he can tell like where my voice is coming from, and he'll know like when to receive the pass. So I think every time Adam or both Anthony and Adam, when they both went up, I'm like, Adam, Tony, just a few times. Like almost every time Adam would miss the pass, that's mainly me just missing his tape on the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think we all have enough hockey know-how that if you let us know a puck's coming, we can usually grab it. But, sometimes it's just, especially on pond ice, there are times that the puck just does what it wants to do. And then you add into it the randomness that is the blind puck. And
oh, yeah.
And
now it has ridges on the puck, and it's hitting ridges on the ice as well, so it's even more unpredictable.
Yeah. The only time the puck did exactly what I wanted, and it was the only time I feel like it really mattered. I backhanded like a rainbow pass over to DAWG players, and if it had not gone the way I needed to, I probably would have hit someone in the face with it. So thankfully it all worked out. It wouldn't have been you.
It probably would have been me. Just at law of averages and my luck, probably would have been me. Point blank you.
I mean, and we had a good team. Some Dented puck vets. So we had myself and Josh, Corey, Tony Chesro, and Adam Young were the Dented pucks for this tournament. And I think another thing that we had that definitely contributed to playing better is familiarity with each other. And we've played a lot of hockey together over the past couple of years. So I think that added to our ability to stick with these teams a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, the more you play with people, the easier it is to predict their movements, and they can predict yours. So.
Yeah. So it was a great tournament. We, like we said, we did not win any games. Came very close a couple times.
Yeah. It was a 3-on-3 hockey. Is that what it was?
4-on-4.
It was 4. Yeah, there's a lot of people in a small space for us, and that's really why with these, like, it's difficult, especially with my field division. If I get out, I'm like, great, no space. There's somebody here. Holy crap.
There was no goalies, right?
No goalies.
No, so they play with pond goals. So pond hockey goals are basically made out of a 2x4 and have 2 little slots on the corners and then wood in the middle. So basically you can't score in the middle. You have to kind of score on either side. So our blind puck doesn't fit in there pretty easily. And dude, was that Jared's team that were taking shots from outside? I was like, guys, like, I'm impressed. You're nailing some of these.
Yeah, I told one of those guys too as we were shaking hands, like, if you had put that second one in from that far out, I would have just hung him up. I would just been done.
Yeah, well, because we were actually covering them down low, so they were like, that's what they were doing. They were taking shots, and I'm like, what are we supposed to do about this? Because they were hitting them. I was letting them go.
Wow.
Yeah, the talent at this one was definitely higher than the talent last year too.
Yeah.
I like watching the guys when they first puck handle it and they're flying down the ice, and all of a sudden the puck just stays there and they keep going. Like, I mean, it happens to all of us.
Oh, that happened to me maybe like 15 times on Saturday alone.
Oh, I know. It takes a while to get used to. I still do it. I mean, it's just it doesn't handle like a regular puck, and if you've got that many years ingrained of using the regular puck.
Oh wait, well, there's another thing. So I don't know if we're allowed to talk about this, but we were given a new puck, weren't we?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah, we can talk about it. Absolutely. I was wondering how it was going to get brought up, but it was going to
Ooh,
be as
new
soon as.
puck. Ooh.
Oh yeah, no,
No one-
Dirk. I think you'll be very intrigued with this.
Okay.
God, I can't remember any of the details of it, but it's Drew.
So, yeah.
Drew, I think you have it right.
Yeah, I got it because my goal is to see just how durable it is. So,
Drew will test it out. Don't worry.
so
No,
you know
it
how-
lasted, dude. It did well.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the puck now. so, Dirk, you know when we get a regular puck, new puck, it's kind of got it's kind of bulging, like you can push down on it, and because it's got a lot of air in there.
Yeah.
That's due to the process that it is put together with. Nick Hadfield from Minnesota Blind had one of the college courses make a new one, and so it's welded on the outside of the puck, but it almost makes it run faster on the ice because it's riding on these welds instead of the full surface area of the puck.
Ooh.
It does make it doesn't make a terribly different sound, but it is different. It sounds deeper to me. Is that?
It is quieter. I will say it is quieter than like the
I'd
normal
say
ones
it's
you
a
guys
little
had.
quieter, but it's still definitely. But it was more constant, don't you think, than a new regular puck?
Yeah, because sometimes like I did notice with like let's say, it was the one that the unmarked one, or not. I'm sorry, like the one that just didn't have any logos or anything on it. Like it sounded like the bell would get stuck in a certain spot, but yeah, with that one that Nick Hadfield gave us, like you would always hear it the whole time.
Yeah, and I think it's also a different paint coating because it's a glossy paint instead of our kind of matte finish, which I think helps for it to move. When we were talking to him, he definitely thinks it's more along the lines of a advanced division play. Because it is more durable. He said it's not that it won't dent, but it won't dent as easily. It's a new puck to use and try. They're going to have some at the Hendrickson Foundation too for us to give a try with.
Nice.
Yeah, I think and the cost sounded like it was pretty reasonable. So if this is a good alternative, then this might be the way to go so that we're not, $60 a puck is worthwhile when we need it, but if we don't have to pay $60 a puck, then that's definitely better
That'd be
for all
nice.
programs.
Absolutely.
And then the electronic ones, they're just not durable, and the research, so much money goes into it just to have it die in 2 or 3 hits. And until we come up with some.
Well, I actually met with the Air Force Academy that's working on our puck, and they're going to start talking to the beat ball community and seeing what and I think that the one thing that is the big killer for our puck is condensation and cold. I think that's like the condensation gets into the electronics and the cold makes everything so much more fragile that it gets knocked around a little bit more. So I think we're going to have a couple options coming out here. I mean, I'm still probably thinking 5 years before we're fully like, this is the puck, but it's in the right direction. We're still working on it. So we'll see what happens.
That's exciting. I'm always excited to try new pucks and see what people's different takes on it are.
Yeah, Nick told me about it. I'm like, I want one of those. I want to test one of those.
Yeah, right. I know.
So
how much did those cost to make? Do you know? Or
I don't remember offhand. I do remember it was pretty cheap though. So
it was significantly different. I wish I remembered the number, but it was significantly different.
Yeah. So
less than 50 than a normal puck, or more.
Yeah,
than
less than normal.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good thing.
And that's what I'm saying. If this is the best next iteration of the puck, just due to cost, like it's same size, same width.
Yeah, and if it works out better and it's cheaper, it's good. It's good on both ends.
Wasn't it a little lower profile?
No, exactly the same dimensions. Yeah, because we still have one of the new standard blind pucks, and they're the exact same dimensions. Yeah. So I mean that's huge. I mean that just being able to cut costs for pucks would be a huge
Yeah.
benefit for all programs.
And if it slows down the deterioration of said pucks, it's even like it's
It's a double-edged
awesome.
sword. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
No, it's exciting. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah.
So that was, but we got that on the last day. So we only got that for one game, and it did hold up well. But you know, there aren't metal posts, and we're not really ripping shots at things. So we'll see how it does. But I was very pleased with it for that game.
If it can survive a few hours of stick and puck from Drew, I would say it should be all right.
But yeah, so I mean, Corey, this was your second Dented Puck event?
Yes, because my first was in St. Louis.
Okay. So how did you like this one in comparison to the Johnny O? I mean, they're definitely two completely different events, but what was your impressions of, because they're both DAWG Nation events, what was your impression of it?
I mean, I have nothing bad to say about either of them, for one. But I will say, like, skating in Minnesota, that was the first time I've ever skated outside on a pond. And other than me wiping out like 4 or 5 times in the last game, like, it was awesome. I'm like, holy crap, I'm outside playing hockey. I want to do more of this. But I think especially like with the cause for both Johnny and Ethan, I just thought the whole event was so, like, I don't know, everything about it was so cool. I can't really pinpoint it to one thing, although it was hilarious when Adam and I were just both sitting at the table. We looked to our right and we're just like, holy crap, that's Mikko Koivu right there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Adam got a picture with him too, so he was.
So I guess I don't have to ask Corey this question then now because that's already answered. But I guess for Josh and for Drew, what was the highlight for your guys' weekend?
Oh man, you'll see the video. It bounced off Drew.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
is this going to be? Is this a video on the dark web? Do I want to see this? Or
no,
is this...
no, dude.
Oh, okay.
I'm watching. So Corey's got the GoPro on his head, and I'm watching the play, and I go to turn, and I just like normally, like if I hit somebody, they're giving at least a little bit, and I'm gonna keep going because I'm at least solid. I mean, I hit something out of my blind spot, and I was doing crossovers, so it was kind of like I was like on my edge anyway. But I just went doink and straight down, and on my way down, I'm like, what just hit? What did I just hit? And I went straight down. I looked up, and I was like, yep, that makes sense. But on video, it looks great. It literally looks like a kid running into his coach.
Nice.
No, but for real, I mean, honestly, I love these events from top to bottom. I mean, the cause is great, but it's the hockey community, and it's we hear about the negative parts of the hockey community, and you sometimes don't hear about some of the positive parts, like the fact that between their auction and the donations and the fundraising and the entry fees, they made $81,000 for Ethan Glynn's family at a time where, I mean, I mean, he's a trooper, man. Like, to go through what we all know what it's like to go through loss of something, but to us, we know that that's a whole other level. And
I'd rather lose all my and lose my ability to walk. Yeah.
But this is why we work with DAWG Nation. They never cease to impress us. And Corey, honestly, that first day was beautiful. But I will take as much vomiting as I had in Colorado. That setting is just you can't make that up. Like, it's got to be that. There are 3. That's got to be number 3, because Banff used to be 1, but Banff got knocked down to number 2. Number 1 is got to be Otta Crater in Iceland, because he knows I'm coming. There's a guy that plays for the Iceland national team, and what he does, he's a tour guide, and just watching him on Instagram is out of control. and he skates on a dead volcanic crater, and that's how he plays hockey. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, these events are unbelievable. I mean, because of the people involved. Like
Dented pucks to Iceland in 2024.
Oh, I think they were getting a little ahead of ourselves, dude.
I know.
We might push. We're looking at. I did tell him if I haven't been there by my 50th, that's what I'm doing for my 50th. So you have 8 years and 11 months.
Sweet.
You
what about
got a
Drew?
while, dude.
So what about you, Drew? What was your highlight on the week?
I mean, I enjoy all of it. It's like Josh said, it's always a great time being with the DAWG Nation guys. I think that they are really good at showing the community support and helping people in their time to meet.
Yeah.
But it's a fun time, and any chance to get to play with the Dented Black is always a great opportunity, and just getting out there. So
Yeah.
it was a good time. Wish you
Yeah,
been
you
there.
gotta. Yeah, me too, man. And you gotta love. You can't be. I can't think of a better cause than helping out families and individuals that have been injured from with a spinal cord injury. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people want to try. Bad stuff happens, and they're trying to figure out ways that they can help. And we're lucky that we get to help by playing hockey, and also at the same time we get to help ourselves and our community because we're putting blind hockey in front of so many people that wouldn't have seen it at all. So
Yeah.
it's it as much as it benefits that family, it benefits us just as much. And I think that we're slowly but surely just growing the community more and more and getting people more involved. So yeah.
No, it's great. It's great to see the traction that we're gaining and the sports spreading around. So it's great.
Yeah.
This is kind of a segue, but we are talking about different disabilities. We will, if you are in or you know anybody in the Los Angeles area, Drew and I are going to be attending Abilities Expos this year and showcasing blind hockey and the Dented Puck Foundation. If you know anybody that's got a disability, it is I used to say Comic-Con, but it really is more of a trade show for people with disabilities. But the sports they have are out of control, dude. Like we watched wheelchair football with the Dallas Cowboys wheelchair football team. It was wild. Yeah, seriously. They had wheelchair surfing. Like it's unreal.
I also just realized something. I want everyone here to. I just realized that Josh is the Guy Fieri of the Dented Puck podcast.
Can I now dye my hair blonde and make it even longer than it is? No, I got
to say. Yeah, man, do it. I just feel like when you were talking about it, like all these sports are out of bounds. So like this is Guy Fieri eating something at a food truck.
He might be my hero. Leave me alone.
I mean, at least you're not calling blind hockey the road to Flavortown, because that's.
I guarantee. You know what? The next time you do a hard pass jersey, it might be Guy Fieri based, and it might be my fault.
I'll just use your face as the for the mock-up.
As long as if you're gonna use my face, at least put me in the car.
You'll be in the car.
On the way to Flavortown. No, but for real, Abilities Expo, we have plans to be at Abilities Expo at a few venues this year. Definitely Chicago, the New York area, and Los Angeles. We're starting out the weekend of March 8th to 10th. If you are or you know a person with any type of disability in that area, it is an interesting and good time. You will learn stuff. You will find stuff that can help you. And you will find different types of activities that you may never have heard of. You may never have heard of. We don't even have to cut that because I speak in mumbles anyway. But for real, this was an awesome event. And they're just gonna keep on coming. It's an awesome event with awesome groups and awesome hockey people in Minnesota. and we're gonna be in Minnesota a bunch of times this year, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think any successful event is just one that we've, given back what we can, and just kept growing the sport. And I definitely think we accomplished both those things.
Keep moving north.
Always forward.
Yeah.
But with that being said, that was the Pondy on Prior. Unfortunately, we will have a bunch of, not unfortunately, fortunately, we will have a bunch of video coming out through our YouTube channel, on TikTok, Instagram, things like that. So keep an eye out. We'll be posting on Facebook as well. The other thing that I want to put out to our community is if the Dented Pucks are ever doing an event in your area and you would like to come out and participate, or you'd like to come out and hang out with us, please feel free to reach out to us. As a note, we usually play against sighted players using a standard puck. But if you are up for the challenge and you are interested in getting out there with us, we would love to have you. This Dented Puck team is for all of us. It is not just, a select few. Unfortunately, though, we have only been to a couple of places with it, so it seems like we keep hitting the same guys every time we go somewhere. But again, if you are interested, you want to play, if you're a coach and you're sighted and you want to play, our goal is to grow our visibility in our sport at all of these tournaments and just get the word out about blind hockey. But yeah, any last words on the Pondy on Prior, guys?
We'll be back.
Yeah.
I totally missed an Arnold Schwarzenegger moment there too. I'll stay.
I'll be back.
There you go. I'll leave that one for Derek.
Get to the chopper. Do it now.
Holy, that was good.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
No, I mean, we like to support DAWG Nation in any way we can, and that usually involves us either schlepping beer buckets or playing in pond hockey. So we'll definitely be at a couple of the ones in the near future. With that being said, thank you guys for listening. If you were at the Pondy on Prior, thanks for coming over and talking to us or watching us play. And if you beat us at the Pondy on Prior, we'll be back next year. So just watch it.
I'm coming for
Jared.
you.
Yeah, Jared. Taking over. But from everyone here, thanks for listening, and keep an eye out for those videos, and we'll see you in the next one.